Chapter 2 The Jungle. Briggs' assessment was not wrong. The laborious cutting of leaves alongside the careful movements to avoid small cuts by infectious plants make for slow going indeed. Beads of sweat run down the faces of the entire party, as well as trousers soaked even before reaching halfway to the ruins. The sun has made fair progress to the west by the time Balarin's party reaches the large clearing with the ruins. 4 large stone statues depicting tree-like tentacular beasts surround a stone bunker. Small cracks in the bunker's stonework have allowed the vines to seep inside, as well as grow wildly around the surface. Slowly, led by Balarin and Briggs, the party of men creep forward, carefully eyeing the upcoming terrain for any traps or dangers. The statues seem to stare intently into Balarin as he approaches the front of the stone structure in the middle. The 2 closest statues, one suffering from a fracture in what would be its skull, with vines burrowing deep into it, while the other one whose limbs are entangled in years of overgrowth, survey the area with a particularly eerie and vacant stare. Cautiously, Balarin steps into the overgrown bunker, the air becoming noticeably cooler as he descends down the stairs. The way ahead, lit only by small cracks in the structure's surface. From behind, Briggs passes forward a torch to help light the way. The light reveals intricate carvings along the wall. Small figures gather around a large tentacular tree similar in design to that of the ominous statues outside. The objects in the figures' hands have faded beyond recognition, so as to whether they are worshipping, destroying, or harvesting is unclear, though each figure has unmistakably been given eyes of an unnatural-looking yellow, as if their eyes had been replaced by those of a fearsome, venomous lizard. Further along the stairway, a second carving is visible along the left-hand side of the wall. The same yellow-eyed figures, burying what appears to be a wolf or other canine at the foot of the same great tree. An almost parallel scene is mirrored on the other side of the tree, except the animal is no longer buried, yet seems fully revived, with all but one of the figures now kneeling down in admiration. The beast's eyes are aglow like the sun, while the single standing figure reaches his arm forward, as if to administer a blessing. His eyes are clear and more natural. Whether this is a purposeful omission, or an effect administered by the fading of time, is impossible to tell. The staircase continues into the depths of the earth, with occasional adjacent rooms either empty or blocked off with rubble or debris. The stairway gradually narrows, until it finally opens out into a large audience chamber. For a third time, the same creature is depicted by a single, larger statue in the centre of the chamber, alongside great vines entangled about the stone floor. Balarin and the party advance forward. Behind the statue, a fissure has opened up, allowing the growth of 3 extraordinary large roots through the hole.
Do you think that could be where all the vines are coming from?
Briggs whispers hoarsely. Perhaps, replies Balarin. The vines are certainly ubiquitous, though the vines concentrated around this hole seem larger, and many around the 3 main appendages are entangled into larger conglomerate roots. Cautiously, Balarin approaches the centre of the room wherein lies the emergence of roots. To his right, he is accompanied by one of the men holding out in front of him a burning torch. Looking down into the abyss reveals only further darkness, with the light of the torch able to penetrate no more than a few feet down. Let's see what's down here, Balarin thinks to himself, taking the flaming torch from the outstretched hand behind him. As he drops the torch down through the centre of the branches, the light flickers around, revealing a huge complex of large, tangled branches. Scores of orangey yellow eyes can be seen reflecting the torch's light until the torch is finally extinguished, or at least vanished from view. At that moment, one of the larger branches that has climbed up the wall crashes down upon the man next to Balarin, sending him crumbling to the floor. Before there is a chance to react, multiple branches start to plummet down from the walls and ceiling, as well as coiled smaller branches shooting out like snakes from curled up positions on the ground.
By Tiago, the plants are alive!
Everyone back! Bellows Briggs. In a grouped formation, the men start moving back towards the stairway, though already multiple cuts and bruises are beginning to show from the plant's strikes upon exposed and cloth-covered skin. The plants are striking too numerous and too fast.
Faster!
calls out Balarin. The increased speed would increase the risk of tripping and stumbling upon the vines still dormant on the ground, but at the current pace and under the current amount of fire, there is no chance of making it out unscathed. They reach the stairs. "Go! Quickly!" shouts Balarin, getting the struggling men onto the slight safety of the stairway, a stray vine slicing against his raised forearm's leather bracer. Briggs is positioned further up, ushering everyone further up the stairs. The few vines that litter the stairway still seem dormant as they rush up to the surface, the gleaming yellow eyes of the wall-carved figures staring intently as if eyeing up their prey. At the top of the stairs, Briggs is hacking his way through another set of vines that has entangled itself in front of the entrance, creating a seal that only faint beams of light can slither through. Briggs' sword continues to hack at the vines, each swing like a pendulum, counting the fading seconds of their chance to escape. An ominous slithering can be heard behind them. "It's now or never!" Briggs' cutting continues. More light is coming through, but not yet enough is cleared to make an exit. "Briggs!" The approaching vines are now beginning to coil in preparation to spring. The closest vine is only about 3 feet away. Balarin is about to call out for a third time when he looks around to see the Briggs finally crashing through the recently made defences. Men begin to pour through the opening. One man next to Balarin is skewered through the knee and dragged down the stairs behind the advancing row of vines. Ignoring the screams for help, Balarin follows the others through the opening to be met with more large vines crashing down upon a few of Balarin's other unsuccessful fleeing companions. What was a few moments ago an orderly retreat has now turned into a full-blown rout. Balarin dives suddenly forward, narrowly avoiding a large root crashing down overhead. He picks up pace through the clearing, dodging and ducking under the array of vines flailing blindly around. Balarin catches sight of Briggs waving to him from just under the edge of the jungle canopy.
"Briggs, we have to get back to camp." "Aye, sir. The rest of the men are heading through the jungle now."
While the rest of the men may be heading through the jungle, if the plant life within there is now as deadly as that which was in the underground cavern, they may not be heading out. Faint screams begin ominously echoing out from deeper in under the canopy.
"We'll help who we can, but our main priority is getting back to camp."
Briggs gives a single nod in agreement, and then they begin to make their way at pace through the jungle.